I think that the media made it a populist issue. If you look at the proposition in California that people wanted to pass to lower drug prices, they even ran an ad with my face on it in during the World Series, which was my family was shocked to see, and the proposition failed. And this is one of the most progressive, sort of liberal countries, states in the country. The proposition failed by majority vote.
You say the media made it an issue, and I always love it when people come on the show and say that. Hillary Clinton was running. She tweeted about it.
She's an apparatus of the media.
Bernie Sanders talked.
He's also an apparatus of the media.
An apparatus of the media, using the media to get their message across, because that's what people do, and the media's here to.
It's no secret
to be an ideas exchange.
It's no secret that the media plays favorites.
Well, but I wouldn't go as far as that, Martin.
Okay, whatever.
But Martin, do you have it the right way around? I mean, to some extent, the media and politicians follow where the people are, and you said it was insignificant. It was insignificant not to the people who needed to take it. It was terribly important. If you have people out there who don't have a lot of money and they need to take a drug like Daraprim, there's going to be consequences, and that's just not the media concocting.
There isn't consequences. They have insurance. I don't know if you're familiar with healthcare insurance.
I've heard of it. Yes, thank you.
90% of Americans have it. Our president forced us to get it. I think. Do you remember that? Because I paid a fine of that because I don't have healthcare insurance. I actually had to pay the IRS a fine for not having healthcare insurance.
Well, your health insurance must be really great because a lot of people's healthcare insurance actually doesn't cover 100% of the cost.
As far as I know, Daraprim is covered by every major insurer. But with respect to what we were talking about earlier, I ultimately think that Trump's going to be a fantastic president. He's going to bring more competition for drug prices. He's going to solve it in a capitalist way. Right now, getting a generic drug approved takes 5 years.
So this is the problem. So let's go back to capitalism, because the ultimate problem is that for the healthcare industry, it's almost seen as monopolistic because it's so hard to get drugs through the FDA. So you think that is going to solve that solution, that problem?
Drugs are a small. Go ahead.
And beyond that, my question would be the pricing issue. It's going to get a whole lot harder to lift your prices if they do address that, isn't it?
Well, I'd start by saying that drug pricing is only a small part of healthcare expenditures. Physicians are the biggest part. We don't talk about physicians. Their prices are rising as fast or faster than drug prices, as are hospital and medical device companies. So you want to pick on drug companies, but drugs are actually the best cost-effective solution for healthcare. They're algorithmic, they're very modular, whereas expansive things like how do you do a surgery or something, it's very much more complex and harder to control.
Well, that's very fair, and we should have some healthcare providers come in here and defend themselves. But right now, let's talk about drugs.
Yeah.
And there's no question that the price of drugs is going up faster than the cost of living. And
yes, it is.
And that as a percentage of GDP in this country, healthcare costs are, what, 18%, something like that, moving toward 20%?
Absolutely.
Much higher than any other developed country. When you have, for example, the health insurers pay really high prices, that gets expressed through premiums sooner or later. It doesn't just go away.
Of course it does. And so the question is, as GDPs grow, and we're at the top of that pack, right? We're the leader.
By a long shot.
I think what happens is that we learn as a society that what we prize in life is our health. And we're going to spend more and more on our health than ever before. And that's a good thing. I think it's a mark of a civilized country.
So you do it again?
Of course. Shareholders, and in fact, you've seen Valiant, who's castigated for their price increases. They raised prices after the Senate committee. Pfizer raised prices of Viagra 13%. I look at Bloomberg for inflation. I don't see anywhere they need to keep up with 13% inflation. So it's not like I'm surprising in saying I'd do it again. Everybody's doing it. In capitalism, you try to get the highest price that you can for a product.
This pursuit, though, and I go back to what I've called an ideological pursuit, does it damage your ability to run a company again? It
depends. It depends on how much money you have, right? If you look at a guy like Trump or Icahn, they've done things over the course of their career that were unpopular. I mean, I remember when Icahn, I was a child, but he bought an airline company and tried to fire everybody. It was one of the most unpopular men in the 80s. So these kinds of things take time for people to understand, and I think that maybe in the short run there's some dislocations, but I've also made a lot of fans in the free market world.
You didn't make too many fans among the prosecutors.
Correct.
There's a little indictment. Now, it doesn't have to do with Turing. It doesn't have to do with Daraprim, different set of circumstances. Where does that case stand at this point?
Well, the trial's going to start in June. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a circus, an exciting circus. We're going to win by a landslide.
A trial to the jury?
A jury trial, yep. I've got my attorney, Ben Brafman, and the evidence is clear that I did nothing wrong. There's no victims in my crime, unlike the allegations revealed on Monday in Platinum Partners, where there's 600 investors out $1 billion. $1 billion goes missing. That's fraud. Right. My investors send me Christmas cards.